Joining us again is Lyagyari Nangyal Dolkar, Tibetan MP. Ma'am, if you can hear me, again, we've shown our viewers the visuals and the kind of damage that has taken place. Could you tell us a little more? What exactly is the death toll right now, and what kind of damage are we talking about?
Well, the epicenter, the exact epicenter of the current earthquake we are talking about is at Shikate of the so-called Tibet Autonomous Region at the moment. So the tremor had been felt in Nepal as well, but we're looking into loss of lives, destructions of property, and casualty that is happening in Shikate, particularly around that area. What is interesting for me is to look into the numbers that is coming out from the state media of China versus the report that we're getting, information that we're getting from social media from the independent citizens in Tibet and from China. So we're looking into more than 53 at the moment, and what I suspect is it could be more than that, because in 2010 we have had the exact 7.1 magnitude of earthquake that is taking place that took place in Tibet, and that time we had about more than 2,600 Tibetans who died during that particular earthquake. So I suspect that the casualty will continue to increase, and the death will also continue to increase. And what is concerning for us is the record that China has been keeping so far of how whenever there is any sort of natural disaster taking place within China or vis-a-vis taking place in the occupied regions like Tibet, the support, the aids, the humanitarian aids, the emergency aids had always been very meager. So this is what I particularly am very concerned about at the moment. And I think one thing that we always forget to bring into the notice is the causes of such an earthquake taking place. And we know that one of the most major reasons behind such big earthquake are those man-made reasons like the mining taking place. So we know that Tibet right now is facing China's one of the most exploitation of natural resources. We're talking about the natural resources of oil and gas and lithium. Since everyone's into the green energy, the exploitation of lithium is increasing. And just 3 days back, we heard of the Minister of External Affairs of India very concerned about the largest dam that is being set up on the Brahmaputra Yangtze River from Tibet. So I believe that all of these man-made reasons are behind, the causes are behind what is happening in Tibet right now, leading to death of many Tibetans at the moment, destructions and casualties, that the number which will continue to increase.
Right, absolutely. So you of course outlined over there that in your assessment, one of the key reasons why things have been shaky in Tibet is because of man-made projects. But I'd also like to understand from you, in 2015, the earthquakes that we saw were absolutely devastating. Over 200 people were killed, 2,500 were injured. With that being said, what are the kind of preparations and what is the kind of assistance that people who've been injured are getting at this point of time in Tibet?
As I mentioned earlier already, what we are looking into is any time there are any sort of natural resources or natural calamities that is taking place within the occupied region of Tibet, the support that China as a government is able to provide is very, very dismal. And my fear is the same condition will repeat this time as well. We're talking about Shikate, considered one of the holiest region of Tibet, which is the seat of Panchen Lama, the second highest Lama next to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So we know that this is a very important area, a very holy area with a large number of population of Tibetans. So I suspect that a number will continue to increase, and perhaps it'll be better for us to look into the number that we will get from social media instead of the state media of China, where there'll be a huge difference in numbers. And certainly the state media of China is claiming that they've already started providing lots of support, humanitarian support for the Tibetans, but I hardly doubt that such is the case at the moment.
Ma'am, on that note, I'd also like to understand from you what is the kind of humanitarian support that Tibet is currently looking for. Again, it's massive devastation over there from the visuals that we've seen. Lots of debris on the floor. We saw visuals of people frantically running as the earthquake took place. Buildings have collapsed. What is the kind of humanitarian support that you're looking for?
Now we're looking into how many homes have been destroyed, many shops have been destroyed. I suspect that we'll see further more images of important and old monasteries, perhaps, and many other buildings that have been constructed since many years, perhaps centuries old, could also be impacted, not to mention the death that could have occurred. So what could be expected out of Chinese Communist Party and the leadership is to act like a nation that has a seat in the Security Council of United Nations, and to treat the Tibetans the way they should be, as a human being that deserve the support right now. And these are the support that they need at the moment. I'm sure there'll be families who would have lost their family members at the moment, all the destructions of buildings and the schools and everything that is taking place. So there's need of so much support at the moment. Now, of course, the health-wise as well.
Right, ma'am, absolutely. My sympathies and condolences to those who have lost their loved ones in this earthquake that has taken place. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.